the food security of the future will not just rely on production, it will also rely on trade. Okay? Right now, Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique partly, they have a crisis, they have a drought there, so they don't have food. And so if Tanzania does not allow food to go, they will starve there. The inflation will go up. People will be in the street. It will lead to instability, and so on and so on and so forth. And the same thing here. I remember in 2017, just before the elections were concluded, the reason why we had to go and import maize from Mexico, I wasn't there then yet, but it's because Tanzania closed its border so that maize could not move into Kenya, because they were fearing their own shortage there. And that is not the spirit of a common market, and that is not the spirit of CADEP and the Malabo Declaration, where we said we would trade with each other. And so we ended up importing very expensive maize from Mexico, creating a lot of problems. So some of the things that we do at AGRA is to support, to look at the markets and the regulations around markets, make sure that we have the right policies, right laws, and also what we call as the regional food balance sheet. So we don't just look at the food that is available in a country, but we look at it regionally. And we support ECOWAS, we support COMESA, we support the East African community, we support the African Union around these issues. The right policies, the right data, the right information, and then developing the spirit to trade within African countries. And because we are talking about food systems, it's not just production. It's about developing the rural economy. So making sure that rural roads are in good shape, making sure that there is energy, making sure that there is internet penetration and connectivity, so that farmers have information about markets, about prices, about everything that is going on in that sector. So the agriculture sector, even for here in Kenya, it's a big booster of the other sector. So the transport sector depends on it. The manufacturing sector depends on it. A lot of jobs depend on it, and there's a lot of interdependence. And because we are talking food systems, we also have to talk about nutrition and health issues. Most of our countries are struggling with the stunted children, which is undermining even their mental development, so undermining future development, because a stunted kid, malnourished kid, is not going to perform at the same level as the other kid. But also other dynamics like HIV, AIDS, malaria, all of them impact also on productivity. So with Madam Agnes Kalibata being the envoy for food systems, the UN envoy for food systems, we are having conversations not just about production, but about food systems, because all parts of the food system must work for us to have a food secure continent. Of course, our focus has always been on smallholder farmers. The inclusive agricultural transformation comes from the fact that we are dealing with smallholder farmers, because they have a lot of problems and they form 80% of our producers. But the inclusive part also deals with the fact that we have to bring in women in a significant way, not just as laborers, but as owners of business enterprises also. And we have to bring in youth. One of the biggest challenges that we have, it's not a challenge, you can look at it as a challenge, you can look at it as a dividend, is that we have a big youth population. 75% of the African continent is below 35. And these are the guys who are now calling the shots. And so one of the sectors that can help is the agriculture sector. So AGRA has a big program to really work with African governments to reach 10 million youth and to make sure that about 3 million of them have jobs in the agriculture sector, 1.5 million of them dignified jobs. And we are working with governments around those topics to figure out what are the binding things that are inhibiting youth from moving into agriculture. Which conversations do we have with youth to pull them into agriculture? Not just production. Agriculture is big because we are talking about value chains. So agriculture starts from input, support, agro-dealers, production itself at the farm level, distribution, storage, warehousing, processing and value addition, marketing, and so on and so forth. One of the young people I met here when I was PS was an American student who had come to study the markets, the agriculture market. He ended up founding Twiga Foods. But basically what he was doing was looking at how does the banana move from Kisii to the wholesale market here. And what does that mean in economic terms? And he saw a business opportunity there and was able to write a proposal that led to the creation of Twiga Foods and got a lot of support from IFC and other development partners. So there are opportunities in the agriculture sector at different nodes in the value chain, and these are the opportunities that we need to point our young people to. And we are working with the governments and other stakeholders to put the right things. I want to conclude by saying, right now we are living in what we call a polycrisis. There are many events that are